Hi everyone, welcome back to our extravagant desert mansion in Rising World. So we've got I guess you could say the foundation in place, the main floor, the pool, the entryway, parts of the walls, a little bit of the ceiling for the front portion. Those things are all pretty much completed. So today we're going to be working on getting a good start, at least, to the upper portion of our build, so the second floor. And this is definitely very much going to be a bit of a work in progress in terms of just kind of figuring out exactly how I want that to look. I don't think that I want to go more than 2 levels up, just because I'm not really planning on this build taking a lot of time. I do want it to be a fairly quick build. I know I'm saying that as, you know, this is time-lapse footage, obviously. And just like the first one, I recorded for about an hour and then sped it up times 2. So we're 2 hours into this project already and not done. So it's a little silly of me to be saying that I'm trying to keep this from getting too long, but I am. You know, I don't really want to be spending I don't want to spend more than 3 hours on it really in total. So this will be the second video, and then the next one should be the final video for this build. So just kind of a quick fun little project. I'm trying to keep that in mind as I go, instead of building something massively extravagant that would take me weeks to finish. I do want to be a little bit more restrained than that, but I really have been having a lot of fun with this. I know I've mentioned this, but this is very different from what I normally do, in that this really has absolutely no actual basis in reality or functionality. There's none of that taken into consideration with this build. This is just purely crazy, over the top, what would be kind of the most elaborate thing that I could think of for each area. Like, you can see me going back right now and I'm redoing some of the staircase because the first part was just a little too simple. So I wanted it to be a little bit more over the top, a little bit more silly. And I'm very happy with the final result that I got for the staircase, for both of them. There's going to be another one. And overall, I think that the idea that I had in my head of kind of what I wanted this build to be like, I think that's going really well. Just in terms of the level of extravagance that we're reaching, so to speak. I think that it's getting to that point that I want it to be at. So I'm very happy with that. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this too. Just something crazy and fun and different that it's good to do these things every once in a while, you know? I think especially with Rising World, because we put a lot of emphasis on trying to make things be realistic or be true to a particular era. Like, for instance, a lot of the people working on medieval era builds, beautiful castles, towns. That's wonderful, and I'm amazed by what they're able to accomplish. I think it looks absolutely terrific. But it's hard to do, right? You're trying very, very hard to stick with a particular style, and stay very faithful to that style. And so it's kind of fun to every once in a while just go very, very outside the box, something very different. And that's really, like I've said, that's what this whole build is about, is doing something that's incredibly different. So I'm really trying to design and look at things from the standpoint of not so much how well do these colors and textures go together, but more of a standpoint of, does this seem as over the top as possible? Or is there maybe something, some little detail that I could change that would make it seem a little bit more elaborate? Just things like that I'm trying to think of as I'm doing this. And I realized after I had started this that starting this build from the top of the staircase was not the best of ideas. Because it's easier to go up a lot of the time than it is to go down. But nonetheless, I persevered. Eventually. There was kind of a lot of back and forth where I was like, wait, no, that's not how I did it. Oops. But it really is, this is a lot of fun. And what I plan to do for the third and final episode is really kind of the detail and decorative episode, where we're going to go through and decorate this thing just as ridiculous and over the top, both in terms of how much stuff we're putting in and in terms of what that stuff is going to be, like the colors for the furniture. And I'm going to try and find some really crazy, wild images to make into posters and just things like that. Just, again, trying to keep up with this wild and crazy, extravagant, over-the-top theme that we're going for here. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I do have some ideas about how I'm going to do it and what I'm going to do. But by all means, if you guys have something that you think would be very fitting with the theme that we've got going on here, drop a comment down below and let me know. I will try to fit in any suggestions that you guys have. So by all means, if there's something you think would look really cool, let me know. I will definitely try to get that in here. Now with the railings that I'm doing here, this isn't necessarily a completed project in my mind. I will probably come back to them just because I really do like I guess you could say it's almost kind of a cherry wood handrail with the kind of black iron looking bars coming down. But I think that we can make it look a little bit crazier, more over the top. So we're going to come back to that and see what we can do about making that seem a little bit more wild and crazy. I lost my train of thought. Wow. I do have to apologize to you guys for taking so very long to get another video out. I was getting frustrated with some of the problems that I was having with my old computer. So I kind of stopped trying to get some stuff done until I was able to get all the parts for my upgrade. So that is now done. And that was basically just core components, motherboard, CPU, and RAM. I do still need more RAM, but I'm hoping to sell some of my old components first. Computers are expensive. You have to kind of space this stuff out. Can't really do it all at once. But now that I have the upgrade complete, it's doing much better. So hopefully there will be much less frustrations with certain things. So I will be recording and streaming more often. And then I'm recording the commentary for this actually over Memorial Day weekend. So I have a 3-day weekend. I'm hoping to get a lot of stuff done. Fingers crossed for that. I would like to get not only caught up, but also actually get ahead on some of my recordings. If I can possibly do that, recording and editing, take these 3 days and really put them to good use, because I'm not going anywhere. I don't go out of town over Memorial Day weekend. It's just really expensive in terms of gas. And I don't go camping because where I live in Montana in the US, Mother Nature has a very fine tradition of having pouring rainstorms over the 3-day weekend. So since I don't have a camper that I could haul out and stay inside, when I go camping, I camp in my SUV. Going camping in a rainstorm is just really not a fun thing for me. So I stay home. And I generally kind of stay around the house and catch up on whatever I am behind on. Or, there have been some holiday weekends where I have decided that it would be a really good thing to have like what have I done in the past? I've done a Harry Potter movie marathon a few times. Just, random stuff like that. So it's basically a whatever I feel like kind of thing, which is, it's nice to have. It's very nice to have that time to just say, this is what I feel like doing, so this is what I'm going to do, because I don't have to do anything else. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to try and kind of get caught up on a lot of stuff. The new City Skylines DLC came out, so I've been playing with that a little bit. That's one of my favorite games. Now that I have a better computer, a beefier CPU, I might be able to actually start doing some recordings of that as well. If you've never played it before, it's a really fun city building game, but it can be pretty taxing for your computer, especially if you're trying to record at the same time. So, but that is something that I might try to do. And then, of course, more Rising World. I saw the banner on the forums saying that the mounts update is coming soon. So that's very, very exciting. What I'm going to try and do is prepare a world. Wow. Look at that fog. I'm just amazed by the weather in this game. Red 51 did such an amazing job with making it so realistic. It's amazing. Not to mention the fact that that heavy fog is creepy. Between the heavy fog and the sounds, oh man, that creeps me out so bad sometimes. But, as I was saying, with the mounts update coming, I'm going to try to get a world ready for that, to test that in and play with that, because I would like to start a new Let's Play for Rising World once the mounts update comes out. I don't know that it'll really have a theme to it just yet. I'll probably decide that once we actually get the update. I know that Red said we can't fight off the horses just yet. And he hasn't really confirmed color variations. So we don't really know what's happening there. We don't know, if all the horses in the game are going to be like the one that he showed in the pictures. What was it? I can't remember. It was a bay or a chestnut. So I don't know if they'll all look like that or if we're going to have some color variation. But he said that they're basically a method of transport right now, and they'll be able to carry extra items. So we'll see how that works kind of in real gameplay in terms of what that will do for you. And I don't know, one of the things I was thinking about was just an exploration Let's Play, kind of a old world, mountain man riding out into the mountains, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, definitely going to start up a new Let's Play when that comes out. And that's one of the things I'm going to be working on over the weekend, kind of getting a world ready, getting some basic supplies ready for that so that we can kind of jump right in and be a little bit more prepared to take a look at that and see what our options are and see what we can do with that. But back to what I'm doing right now. I am doing a little bit of decoration here, just kind of wanting to have something along this front edge here. And I really do like red and black. They're actually two of my favorite colors. So they're probably going to feature predominantly in a lot of places throughout this build. And I'm trying to use things that I usually don't, like these, like the ramps along the staircase and like these sloped pieces here. I generally don't use those too frequently because they're really more of a decorative gameplay piece instead of functional. So this was a fun opportunity to do things that I don't normally do and just kind of see what I can come up with. I was very, very happy with the end result. Spoiler alert, I think it looks great. Hopefully you guys do too. Just kind of trying to do, again, you know, I'm going to say this so many times you'll get tired of hearing me, but really just trying to do something different. And that's definitely different, but I really like it. I think it looks really good. And I might try and add a few details to it. We'll see. The reality is that I could probably spend weeks just going through and changing small things, just adding, you know, one more little detail. Well, maybe two more little details. You know, and I do that with a lot of games that can get very detail oriented like this. I'll just kind of keep going through and adding to it a little bit, and then I think about it for a while and decide that I kind of want it to be something a little bit different, or that maybe it needs a little bit more of something. So yeah, that's part of why I want to try and keep myself to a bit of a limit with this particular build, because I don't think that you guys really want to see 20 episodes of, you know, of me adding details to this to see how extravagant we can go. I think everybody would probably prefer that I just finish the project. So that's, we're going to just finish the project and focus on that, retain focus, hopefully. I'll probably take a few, you know, wild detours because that's just me. That's how I play the game. That's what I do. And I do tend to kind of bounce a lot of the time from one thing to another. I'll be like, oh, this seems really cool. I'll go do this. And then halfway through it, something occurs to me that I think would look really cool too. So I'll stop what I'm doing and go do that. And yeah, I'm bad. But I have a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, that's really, like, that's what this is all about, right? If we're not having fun, there's no point to it. So, that's what we're doing here. And there are things that I have kind of come across while I'm doing this that I just wish we had a little bit more variety with a few things. It would be really nice to be able to create, I guess functional stained glass is kind of what I want to say. That would be really cool instead of just doing posters of stained glass. It would be kind of nice if we could create functional stained glass. But that's probably substantially more over the top than most people actually would ever care to bother with. So, You know, that's random little things that I think of. I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool if. And trying to do this really kind of pointed out that it would be really terrific to actually be able to paint. Like, if instead of going through and trying to put in a flat board, because you can see here it doesn't really, like, it doesn't look perfect. It would be really nice to be able to just paint the surface of something to match. So I could just paint that one side of the black block so that it matched the gold. But that's really probably, I don't really see the ability to paint as being a function that's going to come to the game terribly soon, to be honest. So I'm just going to have to learn to live without it. Not that, like, what I'm doing now is not terribly difficult. Not that it's impossible or anything like that. There are just, you know, those fun little things that you're like, oh, it'd be really cool if. And there's a lot of stuff that Red has said he's planning on putting in that I'm very excited about. Obviously, you guys have heard me talk about being excited about the horses for a very long time. Really, I'm so thrilled that he's finally said that it's coming. It's definitely coming. And he's got to be pretty close to have actually put up the announcement, because he doesn't put those up if he's not close. So that's really, really, really exciting. And I just can't even say that enough, how excited I am about that. But I'm also excited about cooking, because he has said that he was going to put that into the game. So that would be an exciting thing. There's just so much, and that's one of the fun things about an early access game, is that there's still so much content coming. And to an extent, as players of the game, we can influence that content a little bit. Just kind of, you know, voicing our opinions and suggestions and ideas about what we think would go well, about what features we consider to be terribly important, what features we're not that interested in. And the great thing about Red 51 is that he really does listen to people when they're talking about things that they want to see in the game. He actually pays attention to that. And that is so incredibly rare in a game developer that, like, when you look at some of the major games, their developers don't listen. They make whatever they think they can sell, and they don't come back and listen to people and ask, you know, what would we like to see in a game? So it's so incredibly rare and wonderful to have a game developer who actually does ask what we want to see and listen to what we want, because that really helps us as players, gives us a voice and a chance to contribute and have a game that we all really love. So, okay, I'm done ranting about that. I'm really happy with the way the front turned out. The windows look really good. So that's probably, aside from a few small details, that's probably kind of a finished section. And now comes, we're getting close to the next random weird idea that I had, which is for the roof of the second level here. Actually, the roof of the house, because I really don't want to go higher than this, you know. But it's really a lot of fun doing this, and I'm really having a lot of fun using the creative tools too. I really enjoy those. Partly because they make life so much simpler. And because when I'm doing a build like this, I'm trying to move quickly, right? this takes long enough as it is. I don't want it to end up getting too long. So having those creative tools to work with really does help in terms of making it much faster. So that's always a good thing. And my next rant here is that I really wish that we could resize the doors. I would really love to have that ability, because there are so many little things that, so many times where it would be really convenient to be able to have the door just, be that, like, instead of basically 2 blocks wide, have it be 3 blocks wide, or have it be taller. And I really liked those doors. It's just very unfortunate that when you switch the orientation, because it has one very clear door handle, it's obvious that the door is, I guess kind of inside out is maybe the best way to put that. So it's unfortunately very obvious that it is. I wish that it was not that way. But I also wish that we could make glass doors that actually functioned. I know people have made blueprints for glass doors, but I don't think they actually work. I haven't tried them myself, but I don't know how they would have gotten a door to actually work properly. So they do look good though. So if you have a door that is just going to remain permanently closed or permanently open, then that's great. But if you want them to actually function as a door, that's not really so great. So that goes on my wish list, is more options for the doors. That would be really, really great. And we are getting closer to the conclusion of today's episode. I really do hope that you guys are enjoying this. I know this is just such a random, weird thing that I'm doing. And I hope that you're not all watching this going, oh my God, she's lost her mind. What is wrong with her? I haven't really lost my mind. Well, I don't know. Maybe I have and I just don't realize it. That's possible too. Who knows? If I have lost my mind, I'm having a lot of fun at it. So that's the important part, right? That you're having a lot of fun. And this really is. So there will be one more video after this, which will be really just a lot of fine details. I do have a few more larger things to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and get that done off camera and toss in some like before and after pics for you guys so that you can see what it looked like before and what it'll look like when I'm done. And then the next video is really just going to be those details, those fine details that I'm going to work on. And then I haven't forgotten, but after we wrap up this build, I did find a really cool dungeon nearby, so we are going to do just a dungeon exploration video. Just because that dungeon just looks really, really cool, and I want to share it. So right now, this is the roof that I'm doing at the moment, and I was kind of trying to think of like what would be fitting for this build, what would be in keeping with this kind of crazy wild thing that we're going for, and having this checkerboard pattern seemed like it would fit really well. I'm trying to keep using the same colors for the most part to have kind of a cohesive color scheme. I don't want to be that wild and crazy, but with that color scheme, with the color palette that I'm picking from, I do want to think outside the box, be a little silly, do some kind of weird architectural things. And that's kind of how I came up with this. And I really do like the end result. I hope that you guys will too. You're going to see it in just a few minutes because I did not record this entire thing. I put in some pictures at the end to show you what it looks like because it actually took me well over an hour to get this done because doing the roof like this takes a lot of time. But we are just about done, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time for crazy and wild details.